We're live!
What is up, everybody? It's Ethan Newberry here, the Ginger Runner, and welcome to Monday night's Ginger Runner Live. This is post-show number 167. We're getting up there, right?
Better than I think I've done on half those episodes. No doubt. What's up, Patreon supporters? My name is Ethan Newberry, aka Ginger Runner. That's how Kim always says it. Ginger Runner. I gotta pull up the chat room so I can see anything that you guys are saying. If you are tuning in to the Patreon Crew Live post show for the first time, welcome. I believe we actually have a couple new viewers. Yep, we do. So welcome everyone. If you are new, here's how this works. You're probably currently watching this on the Patreon page. If you would like to join the live chat room, if you are watching live, if you're watching the archive version, the chat room disappears. But if you're watching this live, you can click the link there in the description of the, or in the body of the post. It'll say, here's the link to the post show. You want to click that. It'll take you to the YouTube page because that's where you want to be. That's where the live chat is.
We can't see you guys. Like if you guys are commenting on the Patreon post, we can't see it. Ethan's shirt is from Territory Run Company.
Yep, Territory Run Company.
It's an oldie.
It is an oldie. Yeah. Brett is an awesome dude. He's been supporting us since he started his business. He reached out early on years ago, like, hey, I do this thing out of Portland. I make this stuff. Can I send you gear? And he's been really gracious with this stuff. And every piece of gear he sent us, like t-shirts, he does mostly t-shirts and hats. I've like wanted to keep every single one of them because they're all really cool. And we'll be also offering some new Ginger Runner gear and soon like t-shirts and
as soon as we
casual wear and stuff like that.
Raul says, Ethan, why you gotta make it sad?
It's not sad. It's happy. Honestly, those tears are there because
it's mixed emotions, I think, and we've kind of been doing this like
up and down thing.
And the fact that we did have to say bye to some of our family today down here, kind of like I think
already
that
put me on an emotional edge. But it's you guys, it's all good. Like this move is. Kim and I have been talking about this for years.
Since before I moved down here.
Before Kim moved down here, and before we went through the immigration process and everything, we've been talking about moving back to the Northwest. And it just how our lives had to kind of co-align as far as location. Kim had to move to Los Angeles before we were able to move to the Northwest because I was not in a place to move to the Northwest 2 years ago, just like plan wise. But now we can, and we're so happy. Yeah. This is such a good thing. But there's certainly moments where we see, like we went to a restaurant that we hadn't been to the other night for the first time in a long time, and we kind of went, or the other morning, and we kind of went, oh, this is the last time we're gonna have this. Yeah. And you can't help but kind of get a little bit sad.
Yeah. Matt Libertro says, became a patron this weekend. Glad to be here. Welcome.
Shade. We have lots of new Patreon supporters that have come up in the last week or two. Welcome. We love that you guys are here. Stay as long as you can, as long as you want. Really, there's no pressure, but it's just we try to provide as much like additional stuff for you guys, whether it's the weekly post shows or the gear giveaways that we just did. But yeah, thank you very, very much. And we hope that you are able to literally see where your dollars are going. So that's kind of the point of this is, for example, my laptop is behaving, unfortunately. So a portion of this month's Patreon support will go to
trying to get that up and running,
seeing what's going on with the laptop. And hopefully Kim's laptop does not also fail because that would be a double. And we cannot afford. But we will be packing up and moving. And paying the movers is a part of what you guys are able to support. So we will be moving into a new place that has a bigger garage where we can keep merchandise.
Raul says, do a camp. I'll show up.
It's nah. It's on our plan.
I will do a camp.
I will do a separate camp.
And we'll fight. Like my camp fights your camp.
Let's do that.
Like an epic battle scene.
Yes.
But like run fighting.
We'll find a summer camp that has a boys' side and a girls' side. Oh, I'm into this. This is really. Why'd you have to go down to spraying goo on each other, Tran? But I do like the idea of having like a camp that has both male and female side. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. I still have some stuff that I can pull up.
Yeah, Randy in the chat room says, is the move to Seattle proper or is it outside of Seattle? What will be your go-to running store? We are in Seattle proper. Go-to running store. I mean, Seven Hills and Fleet Feet.
There's no doubt it'll be both.
Yeah.
They both supported us.
Love both those guys.
So. Phil and Brian, I mean, they're awesome. Phil has been great. Phil has been a supporter since almost day one. He's sent us gear in the past for review. He's opened his doors to us to do post shows, like after my 100-miler. And Brian has just become such a close friend, and his family is fantastic. And there is no doubt. I mean, Brian, I think, his shot Fleet Feet Seattle is closer, just by way of
closer distance-wise, yeah.
And I get a chance to run with Brian as often as I can. But we're going to try to like make sure that we visit both, and we'll be doing events at both and stuff like that. We are not picking sides because they themselves are good friends. And that's what's really cool about Seattle, is that they're not really competing. They're actually like buddies, and they show up at races and they run together and all that sort of stuff. And they work together, which is just awesome. So if you live in Seattle, both of those stores are our two recommendations, because they've just been incredible supporters.
And they both love when you guys go in to see them and tell them that we sent them.
Yes, please. We have people, I mean, some of you might be watching, but we have Patreon supporters and fans of the Ginger Runner and Mile Long Legs from around the globe who have traveled to Seattle specifically to run those mountains, those loops, the trails that maybe we filmed, but then to visit the stores. And Brian was just telling me that he had a friend, or not a friend, but he had a visitor very recently, and I forget who it was, but they visited the store and talked about A Decade On, and he talked to Brian for close to 30 minutes. And the guy told Brian, you are as cool, if not cooler, than everyone's always talked about, and you're so nice. And Brian's like, dude, Ethan, I can't thank you enough for telling the world about this store, and now there's people coming and visiting it. And in my mind, I'm going, that's all I want, man. I want people from Scotland and from Russia and everything to come to the Seattle and to go to a store. And even if you just buy goose or something from him, but just to stop by and kind of get the vibe. And same with Phil's store, I think it's really great.
A comment from Lori Hall in the chat room, longtime viewer and supporter of ours. She said, just wanted to say how thankful I am that you've created this wonderful community for all of us. So very excited to see where you take us now. You two are inspiring all of us to follow our dreams. And Lori and Chuck, I believe, are also kind of in the process of the big move.
Very similar,
well.
Yeah. I think they are moving from beautiful Boulder, Colorado, I believe, to the East Coast. And Lori and Chuck, a huge congratulations on the move, whether you're going through it now or whatever. But I know that it's a huge transition. And we wish you obviously the best of luck. And we know you're not going anywhere. You're going to be in the chat rooms and stuff like that. So I can't wait to hear about like what it's going on, what it's like for you guys with this transition, because we're going through the exact same thing. Picking up and moving states, it's not easy. It's not easy. So I always have respect for people that do that.
Yeah. Kristen O'Connell in the chat room says, Kim, you'll be near the Wazelle flagship store. I know. I'm right near the mothership, the Nest as well. Nest. All the women there have been incredibly supportive of us and welcoming of us. So it's going to be great. If you're familiar with Wazelle, they do host a weekly run, which I'm going to be hopefully taking part in some of those as well.
Can I come?
You can come.
Yeah,
Brobirds, welcome.
Yeah, they've been great. Sally and the whole crew there giving me t-shirts. They have like t-shirts that are designed to be kind of unisex, and so they have a community called the Brobirds, which are usually the male counterparts of the female athletes, whether it's the husbands, boyfriends, brothers, whatever. Dads and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool. They are doing a cool thing up there. I still got viewer mail to read through. This one comes from Plant Positive, who I believe are also Patreon supporters. It's a bit longer, so I'm going to try to get through it efficiently. Hey, Ethan, this sounds so exciting. We love the viewer mail and inspiration shows. Here is our story. Hey, all. Katie and Gwen here from Plant Positive Running. This is our story for all of you. We were in Antarctica. Yeah, I love it when emails start like that. Stuck on a small ship for 3 months without any sight of land. This was when we decided to dedicate our lives to running. How and why? Well, as we were on this ship volunteering with Sea Shepherd, floating around the Southern Ocean Whale Sanctuary, saving whales and fighting off illegal whalers, Jesus, talk about an adventure. Already, this is like, what? We came across a book that alone changed the course of our lives, Born to Run. Many people have used this book as inspiration to start their journey. Before reading this, neither of us knew it was a thing to run more than a marathon. And honestly, even running a marathon distance never crossed our minds. We are sure so many of you guys had exactly the same thing happen without being in Antarctica, though. Yep, exactly. We decided right then and there to run our first ultra marathon as soon as possible when we arrived back to land after our 3 months at sea. Back in Gwen's hometown in France, there was a great 56K race that we found. And the day we stepped foot back on land was the day we began to train. We had 3 months to train for our first 56K, which was so not enough time looking back on it now. But we were very clueless back then, and that was the beauty of it. After being able to run, bike, or even walk for 3 months on the ship, unable, we were probably the most out of shape we had been in our entire life. But this only fueled our fire further. We were so inspired to run on trails all that we could. And we missed land, trees, grass, dirt, mountains so much that we were extremely thrilled to just be running on land. And yes, some people do run at sea on treadmills, but we did not have one on our ship. The first 56K was the hardest thing that we had ever done in our lives. Every mile after about mile 10 was extremely painful. But again, we were so fresh and excited about trail running. It took us 6 hours and 49 minutes to complete that run, and we finished so proud and happy. That was June 30th, 2013. 4 years had gone by, and we still have that insane passion and love for running, hugely due to YouTube channels like the Ginger Runner and a few other epic ones. There were a few years in there since 2013 that we couldn't run because we were again volunteering. However, on January 2015, we made it our lives' intent to commit our love of running and change the course of our lives as a result of this passion. We started our own YouTube channel to inspire people to get outside, enjoy the outdoors, and eat healthy plant foods that boost health and happiness. We watch the Ginger Runner live every Monday, and we love the running community. We are now running 100-mile weeks, winning local races, have big hopes and dreams like running Western States, Hard Rock, and traveling to Gwen's homeland and running UTMB. We could not have done this all without the inspiration from others, from YouTube, and from the running community. We are now starting a nonprofit organization, Plant Positive, aimed at inspiring people to run outside, and we do all we can to decrease our footprint on the planet. We believe that we can inspire the regular person into action, to run, to get out, and to enjoy the outdoors. We believe we can do this because we are not professional runners. Heck, we're just regular, ordinary people too, just starting out running a few years ago. We know that if we can accomplish huge endurance feats, we will inspire others into action. If we can do it, you guys can do it too. Our first big goal is to run the Pacific Northwest Trail, 1,200 miles from Glacier National Park to the Pacific Ocean near Seattle. And we have many other goals that include anyone from the running community to take part with us. It is crazy to think that this all happened because of one book, one YouTube video, one film, one post, one photo. It's just so powerful. It has changed the course of our lives. And now we want to give back, and we hope that we are still having a positive impact on someone else's life and the planet. Thank you, Ethan and Kim, for everything you do. And thank you to all the listeners. Together, we will make trail running community. Together, we make the trail running community, and we are so honored and thankful to be a part of it with you all. Love you guys, Katie and Gwen. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. I just can't get over the fact that they were at sea for 3 months fighting off whale poachers, and they still managed to dream about running ultras. Right. So as soon as they get back to land, okay, we're running an ultra, give themselves weeks to train for it. That's insane. That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, they've been supporters for a while, and I remember getting emails and stuff like that about the Pacific Northwest Trail, which is pretty cool. I love stuff like that. I always get inspired by that.
A comment from Matt in the chat room. Ethan, if I remember correctly, you briefly lived in New York City. Were you a runner at that point in your life? Did you ever do any trail running there? I'm looking to get off the roads and onto the dirt.
I have never lived in New York City.
But you did.
My sister lived there, who now lives in Los Angeles. But many, many years ago, I would go there frequently because they lived there for decades. So I'd visit them quite frequently. And I was not a runner back then.
Right.
I would run only for exercise. But whenever I'd visit them, I'd not exercise. I wouldn't go running. Running the New York Marathon has been fantastic. I've been able to get into the city and kind of get a gauge of where people run. If you live in Manhattan, there's a trail on the west side of Manhattan. I believe that you can run, and it's great. It might even go around the whole city, but I believe it's just the west side, north-south. But I mean, Central Park, if you live outside of that and you need parks to run in, I mean, I'm the worst resource. I probably would not begin to be able to tell you, but Strava will be your friend. Strava, you can at least find routes that people have run near you, or no matter where you are, New York or some small town in the middle of nowhere. I've got more of you, Mary. You want me to keep going? Viermeer.
Yeah, Tim in the chat room was kind enough to amp up all the fresh, amazing seafood that's available in Seattle. And then a little while later, Tim also realized, oh yeah, you guys are vegetarians. But my dad is very excited about coming and eating.
Kim's dad. Oh yeah, Kim's dad will eat through Seattle, no problem.
Yeah.
He's a food aficionado, meaning that it doesn't matter what you put in front of him, as long as it's like meat based,
he's
good
to
go. Yeah. But I will say that sushi in the Northwest is fantastic because the seafood is fresher than anywhere else. But they also cater to vegetarians.
And it's so cheap.
Vegetarian sushi down here is hard to find, if not pricey. But up there, I mean, the place in Vancouver that we would go to all the time, you could
so good
$3 or $4 for a huge plate of sushi that's just veggie based. It's great. This is from Amber Dixon. What's up, Amber? Hello, Newberry family. Thank you for providing a place for the GR community to engage. Make it so, nerd alert. And I get it. And interact with each other. Having the support of other fellow runners of all places from around the world on Monday nights and on Facebook and Strava is amazing. The advice is always spot on. Plus, it's really fun meeting new people and seeing pics of their side of the world. In 2 weeks, I will be running my first 10K of the season after taking 9 long months off from running to allow my feet and knees to heal from overtraining last year. I'm thrilled to get back to pounding the pavement and hitting the trails. I didn't know when this day would ever come. And if this day would ever come again, and there came a time when running didn't even sound like it would be possible. Injuries totally suck, as we all know too well. So here we are. You guys are moving north, not to Alaska. Sorry, John Wayne movie reference. And we're sipping on our favorite adult or kid beverage, hearing viewer mail with our amigos, amigas. Thank you guys for the great show. Tons of laughs, solid reviews, and delicious shorts. Amber, thank you for being a complete and awesome supporter.
And Amber is in the chat room right now as well.
Sweet. Amber, I mean, this community we're talking to, if you are unfamiliar, Amber has obviously been a supporter for a long time. She's been in the chat room for almost every single Ginger Runner Live, if not every single Ginger Runner Live, throughout injury and running and everything. So it's not like, oh, I'm injured and I'm going to step away. It's, you know, she's here still inspiring and also being inspired by you guys, the community, the viewers. And that, I mean, that's testament to this community. That's testament to you people. That's testament to everything that's been created here. It doesn't matter if you are running or you have to take a break. There are still people here who are just, they're friends, whether or not you've met them in real life or not. And in her email, Amber puts quotes around meeting, because you all have met each other. We have all met each other. Even if we use your on-screen names, Kimosabi75. It was
so weird when we found out his real name.
It was like, it's just Kimosabi. But we still have this amazing community and this bond that kind of ties us all together because of our love of one common thing, which is, it sounds so basic and sounds so simple and cheesy. The day that it changes your life, it becomes less of that. And our lives changed when this became the full time. I don't even want to call it a job, but I guess passion or pursuit. It's no longer like, oh, it's just running. And I'm making a video currently. Well, in my mind, I'm making it where the title is, it's not just running, because I so often have been told, like, if I'm having a rough go at a run, I'm in 20 miles and I'm bonking, or I don't have the mental power to get through it, or whatever, like a training run is really difficult. In my mind, I'm going, it's just running. It's just running. Simplify it. It's just running. And I realize as I'm telling myself this, it's never just running. It's for every person, it's beyond just running, whether it's for fitness, losing weight, dealing with mental health, family issues, whether it's it's a psychological boost for you. There are so many reasons that running is important to people beyond the fact that it is just running.
Right.
So in my mind, I have played through this video of how it plays out, and hopefully we'll shoot it maybe when we get back up to Seattle, just to showcase the fact that for you, for me, for Kim, it might be something different, but it is something beyond just the act of moving legs in front of the other. It always is. It doesn't matter. It always is more than that. So yeah.
And you talked about like people here like meeting each other. We want to try and work on like growing this community even more and as much as we possibly can by doing, trying to do group run type things, or even have you guys set up some sort of group run.
Yeah.
we love seeing you guys like get together in real life. That's the coolest thing.
That is always the coolest thing. We get photos of, hey, look, 4 different Patreon supporters in one city doing the same thing. This email comes from Ryan Flynn. I probably should have read this during the main show. Dear Asparagus, who's a good boy? Who's a good little boy? You are. Yes, you are. Smoochy woochie poo widdly wooshy.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that. That is the entire email. That's hilarious. Jesse also sent an email. Oh, here we go. He sent 2 emails, one of which was a correction to this email, so I'll try to make the correction incorporated. Guys, did you ever get the card I sent? Good luck with the move. I know the stress of moving and relocating, 20 plus years in the military. Hope you guys enjoy that trip north. Perhaps a stop by Santa Rosa. Jesse, we did get your card. Thank you very, very much. Listening to the show tonight, you guys, you guys struck me. Every story has a place. Yes, indeed, it does. So here, in an abridged version, is mine. I'm going to make sure I get the date right. Okay, 2015 when he gets to it. I came to the U.S. as 18-year-old from the U.K. I became a citizen on my 19th birthday. Throughout college and my military career, I ran often, mostly training for PT tests. Until one year when stationed in South Korea, I decided to train for a marathon. I ran the Seoul Marathon in 2007. It was amazing, and I was very fortunate to have my best friend run it with me. We got to finish in Olympic Stadium and completely disregard race recovery with revelry in bar called The Gecko in downtown Seoul and bowling at 2 a.m. in the morning. Not wise. I chased the Boston qualifier for 8 years. I got close a few times, but despite giving it all, had never got over that hump. On my last attempt at the Santa Rosa Marathon in 2015, everything went wrong. I had a terrible, no good, very bad day. I scraped to finish and fell into my lovely wife's arms, who laughed at me. You do this to yourself. Next morning, I woke up and suddenly realized running wasn't fun anymore. Speed work, tempo runs, it was hard work. And that was the point. It had become work and not something that made me smile. I needed to change. I switched to trails and shortly after discovered you and Kim. It was inspiration. I needed to dive into ultra. I was driven to get 100 under the belt after watching Ethan's amazing story at Cascade Crest. I know chronic stress. I've had it most of my life. I did so at RDL in 2015, which Rio del Lago in 2015. Not all has gone according to plan in ultras, but each race has been a great experience, and that it is thanks to 2 wonderful people that opened my eyes to an amazing and warm and embracing community. From the elite runner to aid station volunteer to our crews, truly feel blessed to be a part of this wonderful world. To Ginger Runner Live. I've run in Afghanistan, Iraq, Korea, Pakistan, and many other amazing places. Yet runs I remember the fondest, single tracks in hills above Golden Gate, smiling as I see someone run past with GR swag running towards me. Both of us smiling, knowing Monday we'll tune in to the 2 people that inspire us to toil up the hills to see views. I'm about to cry.
I know.
Up the hills to see views earned and horizons that beckon with promise of more. All the best, Jess. Jesse, really appreciate it. Obviously. Man, why is it today? Is it because I said bye to my sister and then because of the show?
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. I think we compartmentalize all of this. So
Sure.
Little boxes get opened up over the course of this next week.
Yeah, but look at your face here. Does that make you feel better?
Yes, it does. I'm laughing. Kim pulled up a photo of me laughing. Thank you, Jesse. That's incredibly wonderful for you to say. I don't know. Of course, I don't want to claim any part of this because it's always inside of yourself. So I will continue to say that most of these journeys that we read about here on the show, like just talking about why we run, there are always internal reasons. They might be externally aggravated, I guess, or catalyst, right? So there might be outward catalysts that inspire something within you, but there always are internal reasons as to why you do something. And I think that's what that's what makes these journeys so special and individual and unique to each person. Is no 2 are the same, and no 2 triggers of how they're lit is the same. But happy to have possibly lit your fire. But it's pretty awesome to read that you are still well within your journey and you're going to just continue to crush it. Thanks for the kind words, Jesse.
Yeah.
And it is really cool to see other people wearing another Patreon supporter up in Seattle, Washington, who I can't wait to spend more time with, Darren. He's been a supporter at the top tier for almost the entire time Ginger Runner and Patreon have been. Patreon has basically allowed us to be supported. But Darren recently he sent me a photo. He was running on his regular route, and he was running behind a guy that said, "Follow me to," his shirt said, "Follow me to beer." And he goes, "Is this normal to be running behind someone that has this shirt or something like that?" I was like, that is amazing. It's so awesome. Because he just randomly came across someone that happened to be a Ginger Runner viewer.
Right.
And had purchased one of those t-shirts. And I don't know. I didn't catch if he said anything to him or if they hung out and grabbed a beer or something. But what's crazy is that would not be far from what could potentially happen.
Right.
If you see someone else running a piece of Ginger Runner swag or anything, and this will change, this won't change, but the availability of Ginger Runner gear is going to change because we're going to have a lot more stuff available. But if you ever see anyone wearing any of this, if you were to stop them and say, "Let's grab a beer," 100% yes. It would always be yes, because I feel like everyone that supported us and been a part of this community and watched is all on that same wavelength of knowing that it's just good people.
I think that's what makes this special.
It's completely what makes this special. Everyone here is a good person, and they'd always be down for a beer. Even if you don't drink, you'd be down to hang out and maybe get like a tea or something, or go get coffee, right?
Yeah.
There'd be it's just part of the community.
There's a really cool common ground. Yeah.
Common ground.
Do you want to take some questions before we?
Oh yeah, please. Before we wrap.
So Matt Feldhag, also
what up, Matt?
A longtime supporter.
Matt might be the number one.
I think Matt actually
longest supporter. Matt Feldhag might be the number one top supporter since day one.
Matt says, "Will Kim still have a chair in the Seattle studio?"
No, unless the studio's in the bigger room. Then we can have all the chairs.
Do you see?
I am kidding, Kim. You always have a chair.
I'll probably be back on the cooler.
You might not always have a mic because you tend to drop them. Shade.
Miriam says, "Will you guys be coming back to California for Western States 100?"
Maybe. I haven't. I applied for.
Like to.
Oh God, we'd love to. I have not gotten my confirmation on. I applied for press credentials, and I haven't heard anything regarding if those have been distributed yet. There is a high likelihood I will get approved for the press credentials. The problem is that States comes up fast, and we are going to be transitioning pretty heavily into Seattle at that exact time. And the last thing we want to do is stress ourselves out. If we go to States, I want to make a movie. And if I go to States to make a movie, then I have another movie on my calendar that I will be obligated to make. We're undecided. We have not chosen.
A part of me thinks it'd be really cool for you to go back and film something else, but then there's a part of me that's like, there's so many movies about Western States already. And I'm kind of a big fan of like telling untold stories. Yep.
There will always be Western State stories. Every Western States, there are 200 stories to tell. I mean, every runner there has a story to tell because the race is so difficult to get into. So there is no doubt there's no shortage of stories. My problem is that so many of the stories tend to be circulating around the elite, the front. And I believe like those stories are great, but there's so many more stories to tell that can really change people's lives. There is one person that is running this year that I would really like to tell their story. I don't know if it's possible this late in the game because because the move has been a huge part of this. And I want to make sure that I would do that story justice. I just don't know if I can get it together in time. So our bottom line, we would love to go. We are still looking at it, and we're hoping that maybe the move can be expedited and just be smooth. We'll see. I think we'll undecided.
There's a lot of concern about me getting demoted back to the cooler.
Oh my God, Kim will never get demoted.
Ellen Giddens in the chat room, who is also one of our top tier Patreons, says, "Does Kim have to go back to sitting on the cooler if you have to use a small bedroom for the studio?"
Yes. Is that the correct answer? No, Kim will never get demoted. In fact, I think we've been talking about upgrading our chairs. Well, I guess changing to chairs. I don't want to say upgrade.
I currently have nowhere to work.
That has nothing to do with the chairs.
Oh,
okay, fine. We'll get you a place to work.
I thought it had to do with me getting like a chair that I could like edit at.
It does, and because that was the conversation. If we have the bigger room, you have a bigger place to work. Just putting that out there, because our chairs won't bump up each other. The other thing,
put up like a wall in between us.
Yes. The other thing is that if you have a workspace and you get a chair, then we can get rid of these stools and both get chairs that will work for this as well. We can decide when we get there. Kim hasn't even seen the place.
I have not even seen her new.
I'm the only one that's been there. I got the keys. It's great. I'm very happy. But there's only so much that I can be like, hey, Kim, maybe things can go here and here. And Kim's like, well, I need to see it. And that's the truth.
I'm also more concerned about the garden. I've spent more time in the last like 2 weeks Googling what plants grow best in Seattle.
Kim has a full garden. That's going to be really
Chuck
great.
in the chat room says, Mile Long Legs, can you guys drop a link next week? Even if there is no show, we can all chat in your absence. You can chat in the Facebook page.
Well, first of all, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool that you guys would even consider like.
Kim's like, Chuck, good idea. Rosa says, good plan, Chuck.
You know what? Maybe what we can do is maybe just on the Patreon page. Well, the Patreon doesn't have a good live chat feature.
Doesn't have a good live chat feature.
Even the Facebook thing doesn't have a really great live feature.
Does not.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not going to say no. I think this is a fantastic idea. Just to like get into a chat room and everyone can kind of update each other and stuff like that. And that's kind of what made me think, well, maybe we could just do a real cheap live stream off our phone or something. We'll figure something out.
We'll have to see if we have internet, I think.
That's the only problem is that we don't have internet. Because our internet gets shut off here Friday. And that would be the only thing. Our neighbors might be getting the internet taken over into their apartment. So maybe we can leech. But I would not be able to afford a phone bill doing a live stream off the phone. We'll see. I love the idea. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Sorry, I just kind of want to get through some of these questions and comments.
Oh, yeah, sure. In the chat room.
Yeah. Oh, really great and very important question from Raul. Question for Ethan and Kim. Why are you guys so cool? Well, moving on.
Yeah. Appreciate the compliment. Which Raul? Angle?
Raul Angle, yeah.
Ah, thanks, Raul.
If any of you guys follow Raul, go watch his Diva Trail video that he posted.
I missed that one.
Is
it Prime?
It's really good.
Like
Geek with Side of Nerd. Will there be a Patreon crew next week? I know it will be the first. Oh yeah, it will be the beginning of June.
Oh yeah. It would be next Thursday. That might work. It depends.
If we have internet.
Yeah, it's all again, guys. This is all just dependent on internet. Really, if we are in Seattle by Thursday, my goal is to get internet set up in Seattle in our absence, like even before we get up there, because we have friends that can go there and help meet the internet guy. I tried taking care of all this today. It is the holiday, and unfortunately, none of the businesses up there are open, but rightfully so. If we can get internet up there and we arrive in Seattle by Thursday, well, that's still a debate if that's going to happen. Then yes, but if not, maybe we're in a hotel. I think like the worst case is that we'd be in some La Quinta or something on the way up and have to steal hotel Wi-Fi, which might be garbage, but we'll do something. We'll do something for sure. We want to do a bunch of live shows or live streamings for you guys over the course of the moving process. So stand by.
Stand by.
Stand by, please. Raul says it's on Instagram.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And Wing says do it from Fleet Feet. We are in Seattle.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns right now as far as kind of where we're gonna be.
Just specifically talking about the move, we have movers coming that are separate from because we have a car that needs to be transported up there on its own. So we have movers coming one day, the car transport coming another day. We have to be in the city to accept both of those, but we don't know if they're going to be a 3-day delivery or a 15-day delivery. So we don't know if we have if we have to rush or if we have the freedom to explore. Plus, I have a person in town that I need to be interviewing for a film that I'm working on for this channel that will be in here on the 8th and 9th. And if we're gone before then I need to set up someone to come and film them on my behalf. There's just
our brains are exploding.
Our brains are exploding. There's so much. This is why moving sucks, because you have 30 things to plan at the same time.
I'm getting gardening tips in the chat room.
Oh boy, is it turning into that?
Tim in the chat room also says, Brittany loves how big the hydrangeas grow in the Pacific Northwest. Peonies are my favorite flower, and I've just been researching if I can plant a peony.
Can you?
You can, but fall is the best time to plant them, so you have to keep them in their original pot until fall.
Okay.
So I've been doing research.
Okay.
Kim Wrinkle in the chat room says, Kim and Ethan, come to Hard Rock. Not only do you have a room at my house, but any runner would present an awesome story. We just spent some time with Howie Stern. And hearing all his Hard Rock stories was like, I never wanted to do this race.
Yeah.
But I also really want to go and witness this race.
Yeah, like Howie.
That was for me personally.
Howie's run Hard Rock. I believe this is going to be either his 10th or he's really close or he's over. I forget. But Howie Stern is an incredible photographer. He does a lot of Southern California races and some Pacific Northwest races across the country. He takes great trail running photos. So we had him take some photos of us on some of our favorite trails to kind of say goodbye to LA. We're going to take some of these photos with us and frame them and that sort of thing. But anyways, he was giving us all these Hard Rock stories, and Howie's just this great guy. And his stories are fascinating because you hear about all the storms and the carnage and everything that happens at Hard Rock, and you can't help but go, I don't ever want to run this race. But like Kim said, I really want to witness this race. Right. So Kim, we may actually be taking you up on that. We'll reach out. We'll let you know. It might be worth a trip to Colorado because it's in July. So Hard Rock is one of those where our time frame might actually work out a little bit better. The original intent was for me to make a movie about Katie DeSplinter. I've actually been wanting to make that one for a long time, and I believe someone else already is doing it now, which kind of sucks. I don't know if
it's like a full thing, though.
I don't think it is.
We need to find out.
But I also don't ever want to I don't want to do that. I want to make a movie that's already being made in another capacity. Goodbye, Howie. Hello, Glenn Takayama. Yeah, Glenn's a great guy. We can't wait to work with Glenn. Mile Long Legs Ginger Runner, will you be doing any Pacific Northwest races this year? Yeah.
Cascade Crest.
Yeah. And I have yet to race this year. I can't wait.
That's true. Yeah.
As soon as I get settled, I'm like finding a 5K. I'm finding a 10K, a half marathon. I don't care.
I also really want to do Carkeek again this year.
Yeah, I'd love to do Carkeek.
That's something that I really want to do as long as I'm physically recovered.
I got to level up from 3rd to 2nd. Maybe I can even win.
Maybe you can win. If you focus on that as your race.
I also think that because we did a show on Carkeek, that people might show up.
Right.
Which reduces my chances.
To heckle you?
No, to compete.
Oh.
In which case, I instantly move well outside of the top 10 range, and all of a sudden, Ginger Runner's in 50th place.
Jesse Murray says, "You guys driving straight up or making stops along the way?"
That's gonna depend. It's gonna depend on what we hear from, because the moving company and the car transport company are separate, and because they're moving at 2 different speeds, we need to be there for the first one whenever it arrives. So we won't know until Friday, and that sucks. Actually, we might not even know until Sunday or Monday. It just sucks because we can't plan our week.
I know there's a lot of we might be in town for this, we might not be in town for this. It's kind of.
I mean, I guess we could technically just leave on Sunday and just get there before all of it.
Yeah, but
there's still unfinished things
we need to do here.
Yeah, there's still things that we need to do here, and I still want to make videos. I want to do at least a week of videos, like Ginger Bits style. So that I'm hoping that can start tomorrow.
Theo K2 wants to know how your upper crotchal area is.
My upper crotchal area? Yeah. Oh, well, my adductor? I guess that's more like right crotchal. It's less upper and more like lower right. It was actually doing some pretty damn good improvement. I was able to get in a pretty brutal 21 miler in Washington but it worked me, and it kind of got re-aggravated. It didn't pop. I didn't get anything like that, but it's certainly been a little bit tweaked, like some pain has moved in. I'm able to run. I'm still able to move, but it's certainly an injury that is not going to go away quietly.
Yeah. Wing says Squamish, Whistler Alpine. I think Whistler.
Yeah, I think Whistler, and
maybe Squamish.
And I think Squamish for sure. Squamish might not be for Kim because she has Cascade, but in my mind, I was like, even if Kim doesn't want to travel, like I would still drive up and do something up there. But what the benefit of living in the Northwest is that Squamish is not that far. It's not that far because we could drive up to Vancouver in 3 hours, and then we're in Squamish in another hour, and it will be quick and easy, and we won't feel stressed of like flying and all that sort of things. And if we even needed to like just go up for the day and drive home after, we could actually do that.
Right. It's totally doable.
So I would love to run Squamish. In my mind, I'm going, my race this year is going to be the Squamish 50-50, but it's already sold out. So like Gary has basically said, if there are openings or drops or something, he could probably squeeze me into something, but I wouldn't want to.
I think Whistler Alpine would be a really good challenge.
And we've talked about Whistler Alpine as being just a yes.
Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that's a pretty gnarly 50K. It's supposed to be gorgeous though. But there's lots of races in the Northwest over the course of the next 6 months that are open. Registration's open, they're not full, and I could probably find something to just drop into. I may not even announce it. I may just like register and just go run it.
And like win.
Yeah. Just because I need to test this thing out.
Yeah.
And I need to test this thing out. Need to make sure that I can still run an ultra, because right now my mind's telling me I can never run an ultra again. That's just doubt. That's just the stupid doubt creeping in. Gotta make more race movies. I haven't done one in a while. Car Geek was the last one, and that was more comedy. First person, yeah.
Right. Yeah, first person.
Yep. It's been a long time. Let's wrap this up. I have to do taxes tonight. It's another joy of moving out of Los Angeles.
We have no food in our house.
We also
haven't had dinner.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, guys.
We can barely take care of ourselves.
Oh my God. You all can relate. You've all moved before.
Our niece was here today, and she's like, "I'm hungry," and I had to be like,
"We have dog treats." I can't imagine those of you who have families, kids, and have had to move.
Right.
I mean, we have it easy. We have a dog. We have a very small apartment, and it's still like stressful. I can't imagine a full house and kids, and I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know. I'm blown away by some people's ability to cope and to deal with big life changes like this, with additional stresses outside of just the thing itself. Yeah, parents, I don't get it. Parents just blow my mind. All types, all kinds. That's it.
Raul says Olivia likes dog treats. Don't ask.
Raul's daughter Olivia is adorable. I believe
she's in the Trail Diva video.
Is she? Oh, I gotta watch it. Yeah, she's just the cutest little thing. Reminds me a lot of my niece Azora, who is also very cute. I think that's it. Thank you guys for the continued support. I know I said it during the main show, and I say it every time we do the post show, but just know that all of your support, no matter what level you guys are at, is 100% contributing to the content being made here, our life change now, and our ability to do this every day, and to continue to spread the message of hope, I guess, that anyone can do what we do out on the trails or in marathons or 5Ks or 10Ks or whatever. I'm trying to think of anything that's upcoming that we can like announce, I guess. Next month, I think we'll probably like something I've teased about in the past. I think I even posted on Patreon for some of you who have been in there for a long time. Something that I've been working on has been the growlers, but they're actually smaller version called howlers. So rather than being, what is a growler? 64 ounces. The howlers are 32 ounces. And they're made by a company called Mir, M-I-I-R, out of Seattle.
Company.
And we now finally will have a space to hold inventory on these sort of things. And you guys will have first dibs. So the design is done. As soon as we get into Seattle, we're basically going to order them. I might do a pre-order with you guys just so I know exactly how many we need to get, and I'll compensate for when we release them publicly to how many we might need. But Patreon supporters will get the discount. You guys will get the first dibs, and I'm really excited about them. I've debated doing a series of growlers as well, because I feel like there might be some people out there that might like a big growler, big 64-ounce version. But the howlers are the 32-ounce insulated steel bottles that can keep any liquid hot or cold. So if you are running a 100-miler and you need hot soup, this is why I wanted to create these, is because I needed hot broth during Cascade Crest because it got so cold, and hot broth just would have fixed it. But a lot of the soup at one aid station was not vegetarian, so I couldn't do it. But having a bottle that just has hot broth or hot soup and just being able to drink or pour it into
for camping and
great for
road
camping,
trips and that kind of stuff too.
Or have cold beer, that kind of stuff in there. And it's small enough where you can fit it into a backpack and it's not a giant growler.
Right.
So that's, I think, going to be the first thing that we're doing, plus GRVR. So get excited for GRVR. We're probably going to have to pick. Again, we did this last time with GRVR, but we're going to present it to you guys. But we'll have to pick kind of the date ranges of when things are going to actually play out.
We're going to need to get that done soon.
That's not on our radar right now. Moving is first. We'll do move.
We should probably focus on like food for tonight.
Okay. Yeah. One step at a time, literally. The only reason I'm saying this is because you guys have been a part of this whole growth process with GRVR from last year. So expect GRVR talk in June. Maybe even next Thursday, as the move will have already taken place, or at least we'll be in transition ourselves. We can actually start the GRVR conversation and figure out what would you guys like as far as the swag and what date and stuff like that. But then get ready, because it's going to be a snowball effect where that GRVR is going to be off to the races. I know I am. Guys, thank you. We'll see you next. No. Maybe
we're gonna try and see you guys next week.
We'll try to see you guys next week. Maybe we can just do a Patreon only thing or something. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know whether it's on Patreon or on the Patreon Facebook group. The next Patreon post I'm going to make is going to be another link to pizza. Okay, yeah, probably pizza. The next Patreon post that I'm going to do in the coming days is going to be a link to the Facebook group, because many of you might be new to Patreon, and the $3 level and above get you access to the Facebook group for Patreon supporters. So that link has now been lost down because it's just so much further down. So I'll be posting that, and I think that might be it for now. I just want to make sure you guys have that link. There was something else. I'll figure it out later. Thanks, guys. I have to get up and I have to go stop the live stream.
Is Gus going to turn it off?
I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Thanks, guys.
Oh.
I'm just going to do this.
Oh.
What's happening? Something's happening. The dog is getting up. Raul says, #Kim needs pill. I'm tired. Sorry.
I can't even stop. Sorry, buddy.
Oh.
Sorry, bud.